Hello again, Kids Town. Welcome back to another Bible story time. This week we are in 1 Samuel chapter 17, reading a story I know you know already, David and Goliath. God's on my side, taken from 1 Samuel chapter 17 from the perspective of David. It's not easy being the youngest in the family. While my older brothers all get to go on exciting adventures, I get left behind doing the boring stuff like watching the sheep. Sheep don't do much. They just stand around eating grass all day long. Boring. That's why I was excited when my dad asked me to take some bread and grain to my brothers. They were soldiers in Saul's army, facing an enemy called the Philistines. The Philistines bragged about their fierce warrior named Goliath. He was over 9 feet tall. That's huge! Every day he challenged our mightiest fighters to a battle, but no one was brave enough to face him. Even King Saul was afraid of that big bully. My dad loaded up the bread and grain and said, "David, take this food to your brothers. Then come back here and tell me how they're doing." He sounded very worried. When I got to my brothers, they were scared to death. In fact, every soldier in our army was terrified. For the 40th day in a row, Goliath taunted us and defied our God. Our army just quivered in their boots. I couldn't believe it. No one was stronger than God. God would give us the strength to fight. So I went straight to King Saul and told him I would fight Goliath. "No way," said Saul. "You're just a shrimpy kid. That bully will squash you like a bug." But I wasn't afraid. I knew God was on our side. Saul gave me his own heavy armor for protection, but I didn't need it. God would be my armor. I grabbed my sling and a few smooth stones from the stream. Then I marched out to face the giant. Up close, he was even gianter than I imagined. Just one of his legs was taller than my whole body. Still, I wasn't afraid. Goliath laughed at me. He sneered at me. He mocked me and told me he would feed me to the birds. But I glared up at the giant and shouted, "I come to you in the name of the Lord, the God of Israel. God is on my side, and I will beat you, because this is the Lord's battle." Never once did I doubt that God would help me, so I put a stone in my sling and wound it up. My sling twirled faster and faster. Swish, swish, swish. I let my stone fly, and it smacked Goliath in the forehead, and that was the end of him. The Philistine soldiers ran away like a flock of scared pigeons. We had won! Even though I was just a kid, God helped me defeat the giant bully, and now the whole world knows that God is on our side. I wasn't afraid to face Goliath because I knew God was with me. Everyone else was afraid. My brothers, the soldiers, and even King Saul. They forgot that God was on their side. You may not ever fight a giant like Goliath the way I did, but you face other Goliaths in life that might scare you. Remember that God is always on your side. Even when it seems like everyone else is afraid, you don't have to be. What can you say when you're afraid? What can you say that makes you feel brave? Write down 1 or 2 things you can say to remind yourself that God is on your side.